All right, Sean Zittel here with undefeated 19-0, 17 knockouts. Maliek Montgomery, who just came off over the last week a knockout of Oscar Escandon, who had fought guys like Gary Russell, fought a lot of former champs, and Maliek was able to get him out of there in just 2 rounds. What's going on, Maliek?
Man, everything's good. Everything's good. Still training and working.
Well, yeah, let's review the Escandon fight, man. Obviously Oscar is getting up there in age, been in
Mhm.
some big some wars and everything. But how do you assess? Do you go back and watch tape so you can see the fight again, or
I do sometimes, and that's just because if you know me, I have a problem with watching myself do anything. That's interviews, anything. But yeah, I go back and look at it, look at the footage and different things, along those natures. We had a game plan going into the fight, and that was blasting them out of there the first. But I got in there, saw some things, and just wanted to really test the waters and see because again, he's been in there with ex world champions, and he's went the distance with big punchers. So it was a thing of just gauging his toughness when we got in there. Also the fact that he was a lot shorter than me, so the height difference and really, working on trying to throw my shots and not, fall into him too much to give him opportunities to hit me and counter me back, being that he has fought undefeated guys and he's actually stopped undefeated prospects. So it was just a mixture of everything accumulated that. But because of that, that's the only reason why he made it out of the first. And going into the second, we just knew he couldn't take any other shots, that he was well over, he was well over what we needed to be. So we just went ahead and got him out of there.
yeah, and he was trying to be sneaky in that first round with that left hook,
Yeah, yeah.
and but yeah, man. Well, let also like take me through your journey the last couple years, man. I was seeing you every other day when you were training with Kenny Porter, and
Uh,
you sparred like a million rounds with Sean Porter for the Terrence Crawford fight, and even before that fight was signed, you guys were working a lot. But since then, I don't believe you could correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe you're still with Mr. Kenny Porter.
yeah, I'm no longer with. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm no longer with Miss Sport.
and not just that, but by with Kenny, you got on a couple of PBC dates, or might one or two PBC
Mhm.
dates. So, but ultimately, the career goes another direction. So, just kind of take me through the journey since then and what's going on.
It's been a journey. Just that coming back home, getting back connected, with my family, and actually my dad is back in my corner. He's back coaching me. We have different management now, managed with Trefon Petrov, and just the ins and outs of taking everything that I've learned up to this point in my career. And that's not in just inside the ring, but outside the ring. Also, the business side that goes into boxing and preparing for fights, and waiting and talking to people, talking to different people, getting your name in the right ears, and different things along that such. And it's been just that. It's been a journey. It's been tough going along, but we finally, caught that stride, and we're slowly getting back to and where we should have been years ago.
You're usually like just a really upbeat, kind of positive guy. Has it been hard to maintain that positivity when you fought big names, beat big names in the amateurs who are getting those television dates and with the big promoters? And has it been, how have you been navigating that internally?
I actually get that question a lot. And yeah, it has those moments, those days. Everybody has those moments, the way I
Absolutely.
look at it, and it's like kind of like a kick in the butt, in the sense that I'm supposed to be well ahead of where I am now in my boxing career, financially and, position wise, being able to make certain decisions in my career, and it be on my terms rather than, sometimes having to settle for, what we can take or what we can get right now. And it's been a journey, and I've had those moments, but ultimately me having my family, being able to fight and train from out of my hometown, it's just add fuel to, the love I already have for the sport. And I've always been the type of guy that when it comes to train, when it comes time to fight, I'm able to really block out everything else and just focus on the task at hand.
Well, you just mentioned in the home state of Georgia, right? It does.
Mhm.
So did you like when you saw a guy from Atlanta like Brian Norman break through? Where you was that like, all right, I take
Oh
some
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Early, for years we saw that used to be one of our main sparring partners. Guys used to go up to Atlanta and get work with Brian. Brian, we know his dad good. We came up from the amateurs. They came up right behind us, and so for us to see that and see him win a world title, man, I felt like I was winning a world title with him. Yeah, so that was a great moment for Georgia fighters in general.
That his fight with Boots Ennis, it didn't wind up coming to pass, but were you excited for a minute there? And did you have any
Yeah,
thoughts on that fight?
absolutely, man. Absolutely. And that's just because I understand, Georgia boxing, as a culture, man, we've always been down for the best and greatest scraps. And I felt like that was one of those fights that would have been like one of those like, yeah, like that's what we do down here. We push for greatness and it's Georgia power.
Yeah, country strong, some call it, right?
Sure.
You got some of that? Did you do it? How do you accumulate this country strength? And do you got some?
It's in a lifestyle, man. It's
Right.
it's how Southern boys live, man. So that's just how it is. Yeah, man, it's just in that upbringing. It's just something about the South.
Okay, well, before we keep it pushing in the sport, because while I still got you on Georgia, man, top five Southern rappers.
Ooh, Lord. Oh man.
I know you and your brother love Boozy, so I feel like he's gonna be in there somewhere. But
Believe it or not, he's not in my top five. Like, man, dude, that's a lot. That's a lot. I know under three stacks is top tier. That's number one.
yeah,
Ti, of course. Uh, for me is Jeezy, and that's mainly because those three guys, those guys that like me coming up from a young jit, just like I've always like them guys we've always listened to. We grew up on that music. Um, oh
so
man,
you were
it's
shadowboxing hard to that Ti motivation song
oh yeah,
yeah,
absolutely, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. I still listen to that. I still run to that now.
Yeah, yeah, I know. No, but to take it, we didn't get to five, but you named three, so we're good, man. We got to have a hip hop podcast some other day. We'll go back to
Yeah, yeah,
boxing for
yeah,
a
yeah.
minute,
We'll get through it.
but you got the knockout of Escondón on DAZN, OTX boxing, giving you some opportunity there. But do you consider it all like when you see these guys like yourself sometimes who just need some dates, some opportunity, and they go through pro box like Angelo Leo, then
Mhm.
next thing you know, they're
Yep.
fighting for the title on a big network. Do you consider that route at all? Like, let me get in on pro box. Or is that a
We all yeah,
promotional
yeah,
issue
yeah,
thing?
absolutely. Right now, like I said, like we just spoke of, overtime really has been very instrumental in me, being put back on and getting back no notice from the mass, and ultimately, yeah, down the line we will decide to take make those type of decisions. But as of right now, man, everything right now is just it's on the up and up. We have forward motion and it's great motion, and we just gonna keep doing what we doing, and and we'll handle those decisions accordingly as they come. But as of right now, it just looks good, man. Everything is working in our favor of what we want to do as far as things I've been through to get to this point, and avenues that are opening up for me now to be able to get kind of catch things up, fast track everything.
Do you have an idea at all which of the four governing sanctioning bodies you're closest to being ranked in the top 15 with at 130?
I'm not gonna speak on it yet because I'm
Got
not
it.
sure if I can, but we're almost there. We're almost there.
That's good to hear, man. Um, now that you're with your father again full time, but what is that you could share with the fans? Maybe some of the best stuff you learned from Kenny and working with Sean
Hmm.
Porter. That is for people who don't know who I'm
Oh,
referencing.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I've always had a focus and drive when it comes to training. Like I said, like when it comes to training, and then when it comes to just in general. But one thing that I learned from them, and also was mainly Coach Kenny, and that is having that focus and drive in every aspect of your life, as far as your lifestyle. When it comes to, you know, eating habits, when it comes to just habits in general, how you run your household and how you do things throughout your day. What, as minute as most people would think certain things are, like becoming disciplined in not just the boxing ring, but discipline in life in general. And ultimately, when you operate on that type of status, everything seems to fall in place, and things tend to come together for you.
Is there anyone in the division you had your eye on? I mean, I imagine it's going to be anybody with a belt, but Lamont Roach, Oshaki Foster, Navarrete, and those guys. Just how do you size up the landscape at the top?
Like you said, anybody with a belt right now, I feel like is in trouble when it comes to fighting me. I feel like because of that long layoff that I had, and I'm finally getting back in the groove of things, it's gonna be even worse for him if I get two, three more fights before we get that title shot. Um, right now, I know I'm keeping an eye out on Conceição, off of that the fight that he just won. I felt slighted, that I really felt Foster won that
Right.
fight.
My brain told me Foster still had a belt when he
Yeah,
actually doesn't. Because say
yo, I
so.
thought I thought he won that fight, so I felt slighted myself that they gave the fight to him, and I would love, to take that title from him. Lamont Roach is a guy we shared the ring with in the amateurs, and he's another guy that we was like that again. That's one of those fights that we knew from the amateur days, like we were going to see each other again, and it was probably going to be for one of those titles because we know the type of caliber fighter he is, and yeah, but we just right now, like I said, any fight that makes sense, man. Any fights that make sense, and we want those world titles. We want one of those titles.
Well, man, this next week in Vegas, one of the big fights of the year in Vegas, Canelo fights Edgar Berlanga, and check the old box rec before doing the interview, and oh, Malik fought Edgar Berlanga in the amateurs, and you guys fought as kids, like it was
Yeah,
2012,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So but you wind up winning that fight by DQ. What went down in that fight?
With my fighting style, I'm very, very aggressive. I throw a lot of punches. In that fight, it was a whole lot of holding. It was a whole lot of head dropping, and it wasn't on my end. Uh, and come third round, basically the referee had enough of it and DQ'd him.
Okay, so were you in control of the fight, and he was kind of reacting?
So I felt like, yeah, absolutely, absolutely, I felt that way. Then, yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, let me ask you your honest opinion then. Is there a pattern to look for in Berlanga? Because it reminds me of his fight 2 years ago, Romer and Alexis Angulo on ESPN. It started to become a competitive fight, and I think he bit his ear once or twice,
Hmm.
and he started doing dirty kind of things. Is this something kind of like in that fans can? Is there a pattern there with Edgar Berlanga that we should be looking out for heading into the Canelo fight?
I don't think so. Not in, especially not in him being a dirty fight or anything along that such. I do feel that and he does wear his heart on his sleeve when it comes to fighting. He's an emotional fighter. So I feel like, yeah, he gets heated in there, but I don't think he is like an intentionally, okay, if this fight is getting tough or it's getting competitive, I'm gonna do something, do something out of wax. But I don't think that's the case. But yeah, but other than that, yeah, he's a great talent. He's a talented fighter.
Well, to his credit, he's this big underdog against Canelo, but it looks like he's not leaving any stone unturned in the gym. Like he's training his ass off,
Mhm.
and he's not like Charlo. He's kind of saying all the right things. He's standing up to Canelo. I'm not scared of you. I'm here to win the fight and all that. But what chances do you give him of pulling off that upset?
Man, this is boxing.
Right, right.
You can say anything. You can say anything is finite. Anything is set in stone. But for the most part, this is boxing, man, and he definitely has the power. Um, and he's blessed with that equalizer type power, to where that power testing. He's the bigger guy. He's the younger guy. He has all these attributes going for him going into this fight. So with that being said, it's one of those days anything can happen.
Did he even have it back then in those days when you guys were young? The
Oh,
power?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Even in amateurs, yeah, Edgar could punch.
Well, he keeps saying about this Canelo fight because, like, right away, you mentioned the power. That's what most of us would think about, right? But he keeps talking about his IQ,
Mhm.
and is that something you saw from him in the amateurs too? That like he can be a very good boxer, not just have the power. And do you think he can catch people by surprise in this fight with his boxing IQ and skills?
Absolutely. Like I said, in boxing, anything can happen. In the amateurs, yeah, it was more so, in the amateurs, we got those. You just got 3 rounds to work. Do whatever you can in those 3 rounds. Once those 3 rounds are done, that's all that she wrote. And like I said, he always had the power, but again, he never came out there swinging, full on trying to knock somebody out. It used to be always, him working off a jab, him boxing, man, catch him with the right shot at the right time, and he was putting them out. So of course he has a good boxing IQ, and we'll see come fight night how it plays into the fight.
If you had to put some bread on it, who would you give the edge to?
I would still put my money. I would put my money on Canelo because
Right.
Canelo is Canelo. Yeah, he's one of those fighters like Terrence Crawford. You just don't bet against him.
Right, right. But I definitely understand what you're saying, and that thought crosses my mind too. Of this, you gotta. This is why they like in the NFL. They say this is why you play the game
Yeah,
because you never know.
absolutely,
This is why you
absolutely.
fight the fights. Like let's see,
Yep.
anything can happen. So and Canelo's getting older, and Edgar's presumably very hungry and younger. So we'll see, we'll see. But